listen. You know, I know. I don't know about y'all, but I know about me. I don't like trials. I don't like trials. I don't really like tribulation. Oh, I would love it if every day was sunshiny. Now, we came through a whole bunch of cold weather. I do not like the cold weather. I would rather be in San Diego. I lived in San Diego for 3 years in the Marines. I'll never tell you something. I would rather San Diego. It's like, it's like it was sunshiny like all the time. It was always so nice. I wish I could move back out there, but I can't because God has me here. And I wish my life was like that. I wish that every day was sunshiny and bright. And, you know, I didn't have no trials, tribulation, no heartache, no pain. But that's not conforming me to the image of His Son. See, if the Son, who is Jesus, who is the only and true and living God, went through trials and tribulations and being tested, not tempted. That people say Jesus was tempted. He wasn't tempted. You can't tempt God. Jesus is God. Let me get that straight. I know that's another misconception. And people say, well, you know, and you know, unfortunately, you gotta watch when you're reading even translations, because a lot of times the translations, you know, are not accurate. That's why you gotta know your own Hebrew and Greek for yourself. But James chapter 1 surely says, for God, James 1:12, blessed is the man that endureth temptation. All right, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life. Okay, that's one of the crowns, one of the 5 crowns of life. Okay, which the Lord has promised to them that love Him. Watch this, verse 13, 1:13. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. Watch this. James chapter 1, verse 13. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth He any man. So, you know, the translation say, you know, God was tempted. He was brought up into the high temple area, the high hills, and he was tempted of the devil. You can't tempt God. It should say He was tested. It says it. God cannot be tempted. James 1:13. For God cannot be tempted with evil. So the enemy tested Him, but to tempt Jesus, because He is God, is blasphemy. Jesus cannot be tempted. That is a joke. Jesus made Lucifer. There's nothing that Lucifer can even think or do. He is nothing. He is. So God cannot be tempted. And watch this. Neither tempted He any man. For every person, man, woman, boy, or girl, dog, or cat, but every person is tempted when he or she is drawn away of his or her own lust and enticed. James 1:15. Then when lust is conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. And Jesus cannot be tempted. So, even when we fall into temptation, and listen, God allows the test. Even when we do fall into the temptation, and even the test that we do endure, and the test that we overcome, and sometimes we fail the test. But many tests we're going to overcome, and we're going to be victorious. But watch this. Even when we don't pass the test, it is still conforming us to the image of His Son, because it's making us better the next time we go through the test. See, you get tired of flunking after a while. And after a while, you buckle down and you adhere to what it says in Matthew 6. 3 things He said do: fast, pray, and give to the poor. These are not fly-by-night statements. These are mandatory. These are mandates. These are not suggestions. And a lot of times in our life and our walk with the Lord, We don't adhere. See, we don't adhere to the hard thing. You know, many of us, we go to church and, you know, we go to the average one-in-the-mill neighborhood church and we listen to Pastor whoever, and and this pastor doesn't teach fasting, praying, and giving to the poor. Oh, and one more before thing. When Christ left, what did he say? He said evangelize. He said go out and tell the world, to every creature throughout the world, and lo, I'll be with you always until the end of the age, to the end of the world, to the end of time. To Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, to the uttermost parts of the world. These are mandates. These are not fly. This is not suggestions. So, when we find ourselves not passing the test, it might be a test over and over again. And you know, once again, His grace and His mercy follows us. Even in the failed times, I know I failed the test. I failed tests. I'm like, wow, Lord, you still love me? But His mercy and His grace is still following me. So that eventually I was able to pass the test. Oh, guess what? The next one coming. There's another one coming. But I am more than a conqueror. And I know if He got me through the last test by fasting, praying, and His word, and going out and making sure I'm sharing my faith, all these things strengthen me. See? And me sharing my faith with someone else, then what happens is that person, they're strengthened by you. And as you're strengthened by giving out that testimony, listen, nothing, I don't know about y'all, but nothing makes me feel better. It's when I know I was witnessing somebody at my job, at the supermarket, walking down the street, playing basketball in the gym, we just witnessing by just talking about Jesus, bringing up a conversation, and Jesus happened to come up to my Muslim brothers, to my Jehovah's Witness brothers. It doesn't matter to my atheist brothers who don't know, you know what I mean? Nothing feels better afterwards, man. I feel my face, I feel good. That's a good feeling. That's a good feeling. But unfortunately, in a lot of our churches, these teachings that Jesus taught are not being taught. Iron sharpens iron, Scripture tells us. He or she that winneth souls is wise. Listen, in Proverbs. Listen. So the tests are going to come. The trials and tribulations are going to come. But when we're fasting, when we're praying, when we're eating daily bread, when we're fasting and praying, when we're giving to the poor, when we eat this word daily, and when we're sharing our faith, man, those 5 things, man, they keep me, they stabilize me, they make my life whole, and I, when I'm running on empty, it's usually, I know for a fact, when I'm running on empty, it's because I haven't been doing one of those 5 things. So I need to make all of those 5 things priority in my life. And I need to share that with my fellow believers and unbelievers. Listen, 29, for whom He did foreknow, He also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of the Son, that He might be the firstborn among many brethren. He is the first one to suffer and to die and to shed His blood for the forgiveness of our sin, the first and the only one. But my trials and my tribulations are conforming me to be like Him and to His image. That's why He allows trials. That's why He allows tribulations. That's why He allows heartache. That's why He allows pain. Because it conforms me and it molds me and it shapes me. As a potter takes the clay and put it on the potter's wheel, he's forming and he's shaping it. And when he messes up, he smashes it down and he starts like, oh man. He has to sometimes, well, all the time. You know, when we mess up, he starts all over again. The potter, he smashes it, and he starts all over again. And he keeps working with you, and he keeps working with you. Man, as we go through, he's conforming us to the image of his son, of who he is. Verse 38, 20, Romans 8:30. Moreover, whom he did predestinate. Remember, our lives are predestined for victory. We're predestined to be winners, never losers. And even when we do lose by something we've done, said, sin, even when we do use that way, we're not totally, it's really, and that's not a loss. If we look at it, and if we look at what God's trying to do, what is he trying to do? He's trying to drive me to my knees. I need to hit my knees. Lord, forgive me. Mold and shape me. Give me your power so I won't do it again. Well, son, are you in that word daily? Give us this daily bread? Are you drinking the word, watching the word about the word? Are you drinking that water daily? Are you eating that word daily? Are you praying daily? Are you praying without ceasing? This is what gives us the strength to always be conquerors. Moreover, whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called. And whom he called, them he also justified. And whom he justified, them he also glorified. He's predestinated us in verse 30. Predestined, our predestiny in eternity past was to be great. You are great in God. Them he also called, and he called us out of the morass of humanity. And as Jesus called Lazarus out of the grave, he called him by name. He calls you by name. He calls you out of the world of death. He calls you out of the grave. He calls you out of darkness into a marvelous light. That's why we beckon us. That's why I can't say, Lord, I found the Lord. Oh, yeah, I didn't find him. He found me. I called him to the Lord. It says, those that call him to the Lord, those are saved. But the only reason I call to him, because he predestined me in eternity past to do as such, to do so. That's why I call upon him. Because I need him. Out of darkness to his marvelous light. And then he says, whom he called, them he also justified by his precious blood. By the blood that Jesus, God Almighty, Jesus is God. And his precious blood justifies. And whom he justified, them he also glorified. Listen, I don't have to wait to get the glory to get glorified. He's glorified me. When the day he put in you, call on him. That day when I said Jesus saved me. That day when I confessed my sins to him. That day when I confessed that Jesus was God. That day when I confessed his blood is the only way to glory. When I confess that his blood is the only power. The power is blood. That day that I confess that his blood is no forgiveness of sin, unless it's the shedding of blood. That day, he also glorified me. I don't have to wait till I get to heaven. I don't have to wait till Jesus, give me glory right here. That's why I'm more than a conqueror. I'm glorifying him right now. I have to wait till I get the glory. Glory, he put his glory in me by his Holy Spirit. That's why I glorify him. Because glory lives in me. The blood of God and the person of the Holy Spirit. God, matter of fact, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit dwells and lives in you. God, I'm glorified right now. Right now. As I live, move, and have my being in him.